21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Have you ever wondered why it seems in today's marketplace where restaurants are opening all the time and they're horribly competitive and customer trends are changing and you're hearing about cost problems and tight margins, that in periods like this, more and more small business entrepreneurs are drawn to this industry to open up their first business? My name's Chris Tripoli. I'm the principal of the Restaurant Clinic. I've been haggling with that question for the 40 years that I've been in the industry. It is amazing to us at the Restaurant Clinic, where we work with entrepreneurs in the restaurant industry. We are helping them lead better so that they can improve their restaurant's performance and grow their restaurant businesses. But one of the hurdles that we find so often is that so many people successful in other businesses seem to be in such a hurry to leave those businesses and risk the retirement so that they can quickly open up a neighborhood restaurant and try to hit it big. Many times it's because they've got a particular image in their mind from college days, and they want to recreate a bar that they haven't been able to find since college, or it's a family recipe that they can't wait to exploit and see if they can make a chain out of. But we find that it's so much more than one particular recipe. Being successful in a restaurant business is so much more than a product or an image. It's going to require an awful lot of time, care, and preparation if you're going to succeed in today's restaurant industry. If you've got that entrepreneur mind and you can't wait to enter the restaurant industry, it's not anything to be afraid of, really. It is something to be totally prepared for. And that's, something that we help do. We always want to remind people that there are landmines everywhere you will look in this industry. A small company wanting to start is going to be throwing massive dollars into a business in order to chase many dimes. That's something that we always like to tell people. It costs a lot more than you think to open up a small business. But if you're a hands-on entrepreneur and that's what you want to do, then you're going to have to be very, very busy, because this business only gives you about a dime out of every dollar. Invest dollars to chase dimes. So how can we win at that? How can we create a concept that wins? Is there a formula for success? Well, actually there is. Those of us at the Restaurant Clinic have been doing this for years, and we have seen that whether you are a large company, small company, full service restaurant or counter service, drive-through, banquet center, a big investment, slightly smaller investment, here's what we've found. There is one formula that holds true, and that is you must solve your issues by starting with people. It's a people process after all. Okay, so if you don't have the right people around you, if you haven't engaged the right investors, if you haven't selected the right partners, then we have a lot to work on, because you want to make sure that you're putting your people together in the mindset of putting pieces of a puzzle together. You notice you don't want too many of the same pieces, they'll overlap, but you must have the right pieces that will fit so that you've got service, finance, culinary, all fitting and all working together. It starts with the right people in the right place. Then, of course, the next solution is product. Yes, let's develop a point of difference with our product. Let's find ways that we're going to be able to consistently produce our product and our menu offerings at proper cost and at proper pricing. And then the third hurdle that will help you solve is developing processes and procedures so that you can be consistent, because you've got to know that we're really nothing and we have no chance of being successful if we can't do what we've done on a Tuesday evening, again on a Thursday lunch. It's a day-to-day business, and you've got to be consistent in order to be successful. So with good people, with the right product, with processes and procedures, you have a chance at profitability. When you're taking that first step and you're developing your concept, I always remind people to imagine a dartboard because our industry is so competitive now. It isn't good enough to just be able to hit the dartboard. We must make sure that we're hitting the bullseye, and the bullseye is defined by your core customer. So that's what you want to work on. Ask yourself, who is going to be my guest? How am I going to be able to attract? How am I going to be able to serve? Who's the core customer? What's their occasion? How long are they going to be in the restaurant? What type of per person expenditure am I going to be expecting? And here's where we learn something very interesting. Many times, the owner entrepreneur is not their own customer. Many times when we come up with that really good customer demographic and we can put that information on the bullseye and we say all decisions regarding product, process, atmosphere, the culture of our staff have to be able to hit this bullseye. Then we look in the mirror and we say, you know what, that's not me. Maybe I'm I don't know, man in my 60s or 70s, and maybe I just designed a concept that's going to work really well in the family suburban area, and the major decision maker is a mother who's probably between the ages of 35 and 40. Wow. So a common mistake that we make is we develop a concept and we try to wrap all the systems, all the menuing, all the music, all the ambiance, all the marketing around what we like. And then we realize too late that guess what? We're the owner, we're not the customer. Stay close to your customer and you have a much better chance at success. You've probably noticed because there is so much knowledge about our industry through the media now, because of fantastic shows on TV, because of the Food Network, we're able to see chefs up close, we're able to learn culinary trends, we're able to exhibit a day in the life of the restaurants a whole lot easier. So that's doing two things. It's also making your guest a lot more knowledgeable. The guest today knows much more about food. Everybody understands how they should be able to, charbroil and the pork chop correctly, pan sear, stuff with spinach and gorgonzola. Everyone knows a lot more about food than they did before. So that means when they're coming into the restaurant, they have higher expectations, than before. Everything's a dual-edged sword. It's nice to have that extra awareness. It's nice to have more people depending on eating out. We're a very social society. People do dine out. It's not necessarily luxury, it's what we do, and we love it. But that's the reason why we counsel people that if you're going to enter the restaurant business for the first time, you really should work in the industry first. Now, are there successful restaurant operators that have come from other businesses that did not really have a long history of working in the industry? Sure. But most people need to be able to understand what it feels like to have to think of six things at one time, work behind the counter, serve the customer also while they're still worried about the staff that's coming in late or a delivery that was wrong. The ice machine is dripping and the rain is coming in the middle of my lunch rush. And I'm not as busy as I wanted to. So you've got all these day-to-day issues. Simply knowing what it feels like to stand for 8 to 10 hours on quarry tile in the kitchen. It's just an interesting, I think, experience to make sure that you get it and you bond with it, and that kind of spontaneity and craziness that goes on in kitchens is something that you can adapt to and understand. If not, then we may have a lot of trouble, because what I just talked about is pretty much the day in the life. I enjoy everything that we're talking about today because I have spent my life in this industry. I've been fortunate enough to own and operate my own businesses. After that, I started a consulting company where I was able to help people develop their dreams into reality. I did that for 26 years. There is a fantastic website that I work with called restaurantowner.com, and I always encourage people who are operating restaurants or entrepreneurs who are interested in the industry to go there. It's probably the single best place for information and education about restaurant business that's on the web today. And I enjoy hosting the Corner Booth. It's a podcast that is owned and promoted by restaurantowner.com. Restaurantowner.com is part of the National Restaurant Association, so we've got a very large national platform to work from now. And on Corner Booth, you'll hear people, actual entrepreneurs of successful restaurants, share their story. They'll be able to give you examples like I did today. They'll be able to answer questions of what they did that worked and explain things that what they did that didn't, what they can't wait to do, what they would never do again. Because this is an interesting industry. We seem to enjoy learning from one another. And that's what keeps me hooked. That's what keeps me looking at it. I think I've been a part of well over 100 restaurant openings throughout this country and in other countries. But I'm never, ever, not interested in the next one. I'm always looking forward to the next challenge because there's no two things that are totally identical. I have learned a lot from the jobs that I know I'm looked at to give advisement, be the teacher, but you still continually learn when you're in this business. I enjoyed especially the opportunity to open restaurants in other countries. I found it fascinating because now you're in a place like, say, Central America, South America, Caribbean, been there, Canada, the Middle East. And so you find yourself in areas where you have to quickly learn different cultures and expectations. You have no purveyor relationships, and you're trying to understand the customer dynamic at the same time that you are being looked at to sort of lead the team and get things done. Wonderful, challenging, but as I look back, probably some of the most, memorable projects that I had. One of the most fascinating things that I have found over the years that restaurant entrepreneurs do is they look at a good way of marketing and promoting their brand by doing something that is good for the community. We always work with our clients on doing that. There seems to be a tagline that I heard once and that I constantly live by and always explain to our clients when we're working on, customer bonding and marketing your brand. And that is that no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. So as an entrepreneur in the restaurant business, we always challenge ourselves to pick our one thing. What are we passionate about? What's the community issue that we would like our business to serve? Is it a women's shelter? Is it children's education? Is it feeding those in need? Is it homeless shelters? Restaurants seem to be a tremendous vehicle for community improvement. Not only can they rally the community and do good things, but add value to their brand by in the same process. Because what I found over the years is people really like doing business with people they like. So do something good with your business, help the community around you. You'll bond with your customers in a way that no other advertising and marketing can do. One of the things that got me hooked on the industry very early on was my very first job. I was 15 and I was just an energetic teenager, and a manager, my very first manager, saw that. And his name, I still remember to this day, Ray Nardoni. He saw that I was just a high school kid and I was asking questions. I was interested in the business. So I went from bussing tables to working in the kitchen. He scheduled me to come in every day after school. So I was in the office helping with reservations, checking in deliveries, posting invoices. I was just absorbing the business. And what I really treasured about that thing was that at a very early age, I learned the importance of mentoring. I had someone to look up to, I had someone to answer questions, someone to give me direction, and that helped me get hooked for my entire career. So I've always tried to make a point when we work with clients to bond with those leaders in a way that we can add that mentoring. Because if we're adding value to them, if we're enhancing their life, the way they think, the way they win, the way they communicate, then it's going to filter down and it's going to impact. And I'll tell you where that's really important. So many restaurant entrepreneurs are families. There's always that great story about the grandmother's recipe and the kids are running the business now and the grandkids took over the business. So there are advantages in that and there's disadvantages in that. And we have worked with both. And the advantage that I see is when someone takes a look at the business first. By that, I mean, they say, hey, we're a business. We serve the community, we serve customers, and we just happen to employ family members. So that puts the responsibility on the family members to really work, contribute, be accountable, and hold up their end. Sometimes we don't see that. Sometimes we see what we just call the family business. The people are in the business because they're family. And sometimes that creates an issue. There's inequity, and there's one or two family members that just feel like they're owed the business because they were born into it. And there's other family members who are really working hard, and they're the responsible ones. They don't mind being held accountable. They're running the show. That's kind of a challenge that requires balance, and we spend a lot of time mentoring situations like that. This has been a wonderful time sharing these little tips and traits together. If there's any questions or if there is any interest in contacting me further, you can find me at therestaurantclinic.com. You can also find me at chris@christripoli.com. That's my email address. Or Chris Tripoli, FCSI, that's Instagram. So I look forward to hearing from anybody who would like to discuss some of these points further.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.